We wouldn't be here if clients hadn't trusted us for the last 30 years. We wouldn't be here if employees haven't, participated to creating this amazing entity.
Hi and welcome. In this episode of Basis Point, we sit down with Nicolas Syz, the new CEO of Banque Syz. Founded in the mid-90s, the group changed the game in private wealth management by breaking away from the old-school, ultra-discreet model that long defined Swiss private banking. Instead, it built its identity around a clear commitment to transparency, aligned interests, entrepreneurial thinking, and above all, superior investment performance. Today, 30 years later, a new generation is stepping into leadership. Nicolas Syz reflects on what changes and what must endure as he takes the helm of a bank whose DNA has always been about challenging conventions. If you enjoy in-depth conversations with leaders shaping the financial industry, make sure to subscribe to the Basis Point channel. Now, let's discover the story behind the transition. Nicolas Syz, you've grown up around the family business, and today you step in as CEO. What changes and what doesn't?
First of all, Sheriff, it's a pleasure to be on Basis Points. Thanks a lot for having me. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of things that stay the same. I'm a family member, so there's a lot of continuity. There's an alignment of purpose, values, the integrity, the values, the DNA of the family. So that remains unchanged. So it's a lot of continuity there. But obviously I'm also, next gen, and I have a different way of looking at things. So there are a lot of things which are going to probably, evolve and change through my line of sight, and probably being more client-centric. This client-centricity theme is a main theme of mine, but as well empowering people, holding them accountable. So there are things that are going to, kind of evolve as well, and keeping our innovative mindset, I think, is also going to be really important.
So you want to empower people to take more actions, more decisions. Does that dilute your decision making and your leadership, or does it really just lift the whole organization up?
Well, it's about for everyone to take a little bit more ownership. So it is actually empowering the entire organization to think strategically, and you need to empower within a framework so that they actually, people take responsibility, and that you can hold them accountable, and that people are allowed to make mistakes, so that you can understand, okay, why have you made that decision, and what are you going to change about it to have success? And this allows to evolve and not just to delegate the responsibility to a higher up, and then not take responsibility at a decision that someone else did.
Some might say that the transition is natural, but why now? Why not 2 years ago? Why not in 5 years?
Very, very good question, and I think there is no natural transition. We've known each other, and my background and parcours through life hasn't been destined to go to finance and join the family business. But I think this is what it's all about. It is about the choices you make, the opportunities you seize, and what you do about those opportunities. And now I've been in the business for almost 10 years. I've been, reshaping the front organization for the last sort of 7 years. And this has led me to, actually taking on the role in what may seem as a natural way, but is, setting up the organization for the right time for the evolution and the next steps ahead.
You're talking about your background that didn't initially destine you to a career in finance. Is that past outside of banking what kind of built your obsession for client centricity? Can you tell us a bit about that?
100%. And I think it is about, exploring things that you don't know, that open up your mindset, and that keep you to always kind of have an open mindset about things and not restrict yourself. And working in a different industry has shown me, how client centricity is hugely important if you want to have success at actually selling a product.
Excuse me, for those who don't know, can you tell us what that industry was?
It was a chemical industry, which was flavors and fragrances. So everything that has to do with fast-moving consumer goods. So your washing powder, for example, it's an end-user product, but there's flavors, there's fragrances, and they vary across the world. And even if the product brand is the same, every perfume and everything that's in it is completely different because of the environment, because of the people, you know, the local sort of fragrances. So you have to understand the environment, the people's needs, to tailor the right product. And it is exactly the same in our industry.
So the starting point is the individual, and you work your way back to the strategy and the product.
Yeah.
And today, what are your clear ambitions for the bank, and what are you going to have to kind of dare to do to step out of line and break the mold and move forward the way you see it?
So the vision and the ambition is set and very clear. It's to be the Swiss private bank of choice. And as you really well put it, you have to dare. You have to differentiate yourself and dare to be different, but not for the sake of being different. You have to actually have it within the DNA of who you are and who the people are in the company. And I believe that this authenticity, we clearly have it through the way we're positioned, our USP. It is this alignment of interest of, you know, it's a family-owned company. We put our money where our mouth is, and we invest with our clients. This is, you know, the focus on wealth management, the best of both worlds that we have, which is the solidity of a Swiss financial institution coupled with the agility of a boutique, which focuses on tailor-made solutions for the clients. And then we're pioneers on the investment side, and we look at differentiated investment opportunities for clients, on alternatives, on what clients will need in the future and how we can accompany them on those opportunities.
So you're talking about family businesses, boutiques, and today we're in a world of consolidation in the financial industry, of scale. So I mean, the ultimate goal is to grow, but you're still kind of identifying yourself as a boutique. So how do you match these two kind of conflicting concepts?
Totally right, and growth and consolidation is part of the industry right now. But the boutique mindset is this mindset of care and culture and attention to detail, which is we're in a human relationship business. Private banking is about humans and relationship and trust. And that trust is built through proximity and attention to detail. So if you have that boutique mindset, you will always recenter yourself at why am I doing what I'm doing? And I'm doing it because I'm serving someone else first.
So boutique isn't really size, but mindset.
Yes, it is about those values and carrying those values onwards for the client.
So can you be a huge boutique?
If you can keep proximity, you can be sizable, yes. But you always need to remind yourself of that proximity.
This year is a special year for the bank. Syz Group is celebrating its 30 years since its creation by your father, Eric. What are we celebrating?
Well, 30 years is we're celebrating big success about a combination of heritage and innovation. It is 30 years of remaining innovative on the investment side, and as you said, daring to innovate, hedge funds, digital assets. But it's also a way to celebrate the trust that clients have given us. We wouldn't be here if clients hadn't trusted us for the last 30 years. We wouldn't be here if employees haven't, participated to creating this amazing entity. So I think celebration is all about that.
The journey and the people.
Yes. And there is a quote which I don't remember, but whether it is the goal or the journey that is more important. And at the end, it is the journey is where you build the relationships and create that proximity and you learn from each other.
The group, Syz Group, was built on an entrepreneurial DNA, really kind of breaking the mold, refusing to stick by the kind of socially admitted codes of the financial industry. How do you perpetuate that? Because, I mean, if you want to live the entrepreneurial DNA, you have to come and make changes to an organization that's kind of identified itself on making changes.
For sure, and you need to have the combination of both, as you say, what stays the same and what changes. And our DNA is based on our values and the values of trust, performance, entrepreneurship, collaboration, innovation, long term. Those are the values that are the guiding principles of how we work, how we move forward, how we service clients. And those, have to stay there because it is the bedrock of the foundation. But then we need to also constantly have a new eye of how do we service customers? How do those needs evolve? And my perspective and dynamics is really about putting customers first and reminding ourselves we are a service industry. It is all about serving the other and making sure that he's at the center of everything we do, and that we need to understand how his needs evolve and how the organization is set up for success to service him in the best and most efficient way.
How do you think so we're talking about service, quality, proximity, but there's also the end product, performance of portfolios, the width of the offer. How do you think these kind of more concrete things weigh into the relationship with a client?
So they're key because the environment evolves at a very rapid pace in terms of investment offerings, in terms of there's private equity, there's commodities, correlations. You see it recently, with everything that's happened since the beginning of the year. There's a lot of variability in terms of opportunities rising and coming up. For us, it is about having the right strategy, and where you break it up into strategic asset allocation and tactical asset allocation, and having the right sort of framework and investment experts that understand the client's portfolio and then can offer the right opportunities that correspond to what a client will look for and what will add value in terms of his risk profile and his opportunity and the purpose of his portfolio. And that has to be aligned. You cannot, there's not one product fits all. You have to understand your client and then having those opportunities to pitch to the right clients.
Because you can be the nicest guy on earth if your portfolios aren't really performing. It's kind of a deal breaker.
Yes, that's for sure. So you have to be, first quartile. You have to aim for being that high performing, and that has been, part of the motto right at the beginning in '96. We had the motto creating performance. And it is not just about the end performance, but it's also about service performance. So it's both on the portfolios and the service.
In your day-to-day, since you stepped in as CEO, what has changed the most concretely?
Getting to know the whole teams and building the proximity with them. So I was very close to the front office, so to the private bankers. And now it's about also creating that proximity with the entire supporting operational business, and understanding how I can enable them to build success. Because as a CEO, at the end, you're at the service of your organization and your end clients. So it is about understanding, where are the pain points, what are the challenges, and enabling the organization to perform better. And reminding everyone, of the principle of client centricity, that everything that everyone does, not just the private bankers, but across the organization, has an impact on the client journey, and that they should challenge themselves into asking them, am I doing what's right? And what is the impact for the client of what I'm doing?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nicolas. We talked a bit about the bank, the strategy, your vision. In the second part of this conversation, I'm going to spend some time talking about you personally and your leadership.
Fantastic.
That's it for today. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Basis Points YouTube channel.